So just a few days before Christmas, my last flight's for the year in New Zealand with Chris Streat. He was actually pretty keen to get going, even though it was overdeveloping everywhere. We had a few spots of rain before we even got off the ground, and it was pretty slow chasing the sun at the start. But yeah, he wanted to get me a nice good flight, and I wanted to get into the big mountains as I always do. But you had a good few flights, but apart from the wave flight where we were way over the top, we hadn't been in the big spiky stuff yet.
Our mate, the policeman.
Oh yeah, he got away, did he?
He's halfway to the Toothless.
Oh wow.
But he's got an engine.
Yep.
And no wheelchair.
So Chris flies fairly conservatively, as in he's only outlanded ever twice, and they're in competitions where he didn't think they were realistic tasks. So we came back to Horrible, the local hill to Omarama, where you'd normally get established. It's just that this day was dictated a bit more by the clouds and showers than the hills. And finally out onto the main spiky bits with the Hunter Valley on the left there, and really more or less still in range of Omarama with glide, just some hills in the way. But yeah, it's just much more real flying amongst this alpine scenery. So Mt Barth there was the turnaround point, and yeah, what an amazing mountain. It's a bit of a landmark when I was doing paragliding flights through this area. And yeah, flying, just because cloud base isn't high the mountain doesn't mean you can have a lot of fun just cruising along and more or less staying within glide. But we just got one climb here to top up to make sure we had plenty to get back in.
We'll just go straight in.
Yeah, but have you seen the glide? It's like 10 to 1.
Yeah.
A fast glide back, and just under 2 hours later the storm hit the airfield. I've come here to seek shelter while Chris talks about landings. Highest ratio of talking about it to actually doing it, I think. It was one of those days which looks really good really early in the morning, so it overdeveloped, but it was still a nice day even if we didn't get outside of the basin. Just 300 feet above tow release. So we're doing better now, but we had a bit of a struggle on the ridge.
She's doing alright as well.
Yeah, not as good as us though.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Bit of a last ditch effort, you know. We haven't got to climb there. Well, there's a bit of a cloud in the valley, mind you. We've probably got to go to climb in the valley, but
yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, I never videoed the transfer into the glider, but it was easier than this.
This is Nick getting into the Land Cruiser, it's got a high seat. Onto the sill, and then it's up onto the seat, and there it is. Look at that. Too easy.
Oh,
How did you make it so hard the other times?
Yeah, maybe that needs to be videoed every time.
Yeah. Take two, getting out of the car.
Very good, but
Easier than getting in, obviously. Look at that.
thank you. So I've been to Omarama several times now with Chris, and toilets. The cafe is the best if it's open. The clubhouse is workable, but my knees jam on the wall if I'm trying to do a 180 transfer. And the campground, well, I can't open the front door and I can't close the toilet door, but here's the shower. I sat on this chair and I couldn't quite reach the tap. I had to use the soap and give it a little whack to turn the tap on and adjust the temperature. I also had it off to the side, so if it came out too hot I wouldn't burn myself as much. But yeah, quite an achievement. Yeah, the simple things are... So there's some tricks of the trade, and it isn't always easy. If I don't lose balance, Maybe the other way is better.
Nick likes danger. If it's not dangerous, it's not fun. No!
There's other sports you can do. Easy. Alright if you don't have to portage. Crunch. Mum has been an awesome help since my accident. What's nice though is that when you're in your glider, you're really not at a disadvantage. Unless you wanted to land out, which isn't the norm in the sport. On the most recent trip, I met the president of the Keep It Club in Australia. They've just made their club accessible and even have a crane for glider transfers. Now they need hand control gliders. For now, I'll be limited to flying in two-seaters, but I'm looking forward to going back to my club in France, which already has paraplegic pilots.